Wow, so good to have you here. So good to have you here. Today we are talking about groundwater seepage. It's a challenge actually. So our topic captures the challenge. We're trying to resolve this issue as it concerns engineering construction. So we are talking about groundwater seepage, a challenge in engineering construction. That's our topic today. So in the course of the topic, I'm going to take you through. We're going to do a lot of things together, and I will ensure that you benefit maximally. One of the things I want us to do is we will look at generally what seepage, and we'll touch a bit on permeability, talk about the tests you can do if you have issues with seepage, and generally if you want to start a construction project. And we'll talk about seepage control, and then I will try to draw up a conclusion. Once again, you're welcome. So, what's seepage? We've been talking about seepage, you've been hearing about seepage. You might want to ask, what is seepage? What's actually seepage? Seepage, as regards to soil engineering, is the movement of water in soils. Yes, it's the movement of water in soils. Yes, it's actually a critical problem in building construction and all engineering as a whole. Seepage depends on several factors, including the permeability of the soil and the pressure gradient. Essentially, the combination of forces acting on water through gravity and other factors. Water is actually very essential to life. Yeah, you can't doubt it. You and I know that is. In fact, you've taken a class of water today, if not, But then, under the pull of gravity, it exerts unbelievable forces that can destroy engineering structure, as good as the water is, but under the pull of gravity can be very destructive. The rates at which water moves actually depend on some factors. Number one, the type of the soil in the environment, how well it is compacted, and the number and size of cracks and voids within the environment. So you get, if the water the water level is high, and if the ground is not well compacted, if there are some cracks and voids, you tend to experience seepage. So, but then somebody will ask me, hey, is it really a big challenge like that? With engineering, it is saturation of the environment soil in engineering due to seepage generally results in reduced soil strength. Yes, that is it. And you know what? This will lead to a poor bearing capacity of the soil. Meaning that if you experience seepage, the strength of the soil will reduce. Oh my God. If you're an engineer joining me here, we cannot talk about any structure, we cannot talk about any building without talking about the bearing capacity. Even on roads too. That's why we do the CBR test and all. So bearing capacity of a soil is of utmost importance to us as engineers. So anything that threatens the strength, the bearing capacity of the soil, is wicked, is destructive. It should be avoided by all means. So that's why we need to talk about this. Wow. If you're just joining me, I would just implore you to subscribe. Just subscribe, to subscribe to this channel. I have so much to talk about. Actually, I'm working on a project that is very critical. So I would like to be sharing some of those experiences with you. You subscribe as displayed there. Please subscribe. Do well. Let's relate. Not only subscribing, you can contact me. Yeah, those are my details. Please contact me and let's keep relating. You can ask some questions. If you're having such a challenge in your project site, or you need an engineer that can handle that for you, I think I'm readily available. I will be of a big blessing to you. Okay, now I think I need to, without much ado, let me take you to my project. So I've been working on this issue for a long time. So I want to take you to my project. Are you still there? Okay, let's go together. Now this is part of what I'm working on. You can see, can you see water there? Oh yes. Really, this water, we pump it every day. When I mean every day, I mean every day. In fact, twice a day. the water has become an issue. It is very is a challenge. In fact, you can see that young man that is trying to pump the water for us, and the water keeps coming out from the ground. You can't really do something very reasonable each day without pumping the water, and it makes it a bit more difficult to excavate, more difficult to do blinding and all. You can see, let me take you down to the trenches. You can see the trenches we will excavate. The next morning the water is there. Then we just have to pump it. We keep pumping it, and you can know the cost now, and you have to pump it away from the site area. Yes, so it will not further soak the ground. So you see, and let me show you the magnitude of what we do. See this young man, you can imagine the force of the pumping now. So you see, so it makes it a bit difficult to work in such area dominated by this seepage activity. And of course, as I told you, it's not only that is we are exposing seepage. If you're not careful, it weakens the soil strength. Now, can you imagine? This machine pumps 1,000 liters per minute. So you can imagine if you are doing that for close to 30 minutes, or it means the water is much. And we keep pumping it, and you see, in order to have the comfort of working. So if you are not doing like this, it makes it very difficult to work, and you can't really achieve much. So then seepage is a big challenge. You can see with me that is a big challenge, not just an issue to be talked about, but an issue for that needs a deep investigation and studies. Please, you can do well to join me, because we still have to be talking about this issue of seepage over and over again. So please do well to subscribe, as I told you earlier, and also be ready to ask me questions, and let's talk more. Okay, that's my contact, and that's that. Now, if I'm experiencing seepage, what should I actually do? Or if I'm getting a new plot I want to work on, I want to develop an area, what should I do? I will advise you to conduct some scientific tests, engineering tests. So what are the things I'm going to do? Here is it. In this project, I told you this is my project, I'm working on it actually. What did I do first? I conducted a geophysical investigation of the area. Yes, you need to know the hydrogeology of that area. I also conducted the geotechnical investigation of the area in question. So I you can see displayed here. This is a setup for the geophysical investigation of the area that I am working on. And when we talk about the geophysical investigation, you just need to contact the experts on it. The geologists are good at it, and they can help you to do such in order to determine the groundwater level, and all those stuff. What we used in this place actually this electrical resistivity test, and we use vertical electrical sounding to determine the water level, and a total of 12 vertical electrical sounding, normally called VS, were conducted at the site with a Schlumberger array configuration using a beam diameter with maximum current electrode spacing of 50 to 75 meters. The data obtained were interpreted using computer assisted interpretation software, and the results were also given to us, and with interpretation which guided us on what to do. I think in the course of this, I'm going to show you the results, and I think you appreciate it the more. Now, so apart from the geophysical investigation, you also have to do the geotechnical investigation. This has to do with taking samples at the site and taking it to the lab, and conduct some specific tests in order to be able to ascertain the material of that area, and that will determine your judgment as an engineer, and will help you to know. Okay, in this side you can see this is me. I'm trying to take the sample by trial pit, and we took the sample. Now let's see what happened. We took the sample, take it to lab, and we conducted sieve analysis, the tabak limit, and all those tests that are relevant in order to be able to ascertain the material constituents of the area. As I promised you earlier, I think I'm going to do it now. Let's see the result of the geophysical investigation that was done. Okay, here are the result of one of the pits. It shows the compartment, what makes up the soil. We know that it was mostly weathered basement, sandy clay, as you can see, and we came up to, sorry, you can see the dark clay sand, those and the resistivity values were also given. So in the course of those investigations, some values will be given, some description will be given to you in order to help you to give a sound judgment as an engineer. Okay, so I think I need to take you down a little bit on this discussion more. I would like to talk about, since I've been talking about movement of water, and I've talked about the issue of permeability, I think I need to say something about permeability. What's permeability, and what can we actually say about it? Permeability, it's a property of a porous material which permits the passage or seepage of water or other fluid through its interconnecting voids. A material having continuous voids is called a permeable material. Okay, are you still with me? Gravels, for instance, are highly permeable, whereas stiff clay is the least permeable, and hence such clay are termed impermeable for all practical purposes. Okay, so as I'm trying to explain to you, permeability has to do with the permission of water to pass, pass the ground, as in this our case. So how porous the ground is, and that determines how the water will also pass through it. So we will talk about the coefficient of permeability, simply permeability of soil. It has a decisive effect on the stability of foundation and seepage. So coefficient of permeability is what we actually look for, and which helps us in our job. Coefficient of permeability is a measure of the ease with which water can flow through soil media. Is the average velocity of flow that will occur through a total cross-sectional area of soil under unit hydraulic gradient. So in this project, we saw we came up with these values after conducting the test. It was found that 87.5% of the soil samples were permeable. They had a permeability of 10 raised to power minus 6 to 10 raised to power minus 3 cm per second, and the table is shown below here. So the table can show clearly, we saw that apart from that, the capillary rise was also on a high side, which really permits seepage, permits the passage of water through it. So I'm going to take you along. Are you still with me? So let's see, we came up with some graphs, so a sieve analysis graph was plotted, and you can see the liquid limit, the plastic limit, the plasticity index. So we also did the compaction test, and that was the graph done, and the summary of our result, and all that. Now then I want to move to somewhere. There's somewhere I'm aiming at. I'm not actually trying to only talk about seepage and water being a disturbance at construction sites, but then I think we as engineers not only prefer solutions, or we don't only talk about problems, we prefer solutions. We are solution providers. We are solution oriented at all times. So seepage control by drainage. Seepage control, how do I control this seepage? There are various ways to control groundwater seepage. One of the ways as displayed there is digits and sum method. and well point system, shallow well system, deep well system, vacuum method, electro osmosis method. These are all and some of the methods that are used for the control of groundwater seepage. Yes, the removal of excess water from the saturated soil mass is referred to as drainage or dewatering. So when you're trying to reduce the water, as what I was trying to do, I'm actually dewatering the place. In many civil engineering problems, such as excavation for basement and foundations of buildings, foundations of dams, or laying sewage lines, the excavations are often carried below water table. Drainage is also required for increasing the stability of the soil by reducing seepage and poor water pressures, and for reducing the danger of frost action. Drainage reduces the natural stresses in cohesionless soil and thereby increase the effective stress and strength. Yes, as I told you earlier, when there is water, when there is seepage, when you experience seepage, it reduces strength. Of course, vice versa, if you also increases, if you the water or drain, you increase strength. So that's why we drain every day. I think I need to tell you how I do mine. How do I drain my site at my site? I use the ditches and some method. Now you saw an area there. I could have loved to take you down there. So the young man is trying actually to help us to drain the water, and we are moving with that pace. Let me show you. Okay, we graded a lowered area. Can you see? We graded a lowered area sort of, and the water collected, and as the water collects day by day, we keep pumping it out. So the ditches and some method has been what we are using. I think it's relatively less expensive. Well, whichever one suits your site, and in case you're giving me a call and you describe what you're passing through, I think I can help you to also tell you what will help you out of that. Okay, so can I draw a conclusion from my test and the things, the test conducted at the site? After done all those tests, I came up with something. At the end of the investigation, and having carried out both geophysical and geotechnical investigation, it can be concluded that an area with predominantly silty clay material, permeability of between the K is equal to 10 raised to power minus 6 to 10 raised to power minus 3 cm per second, and capillary rise of about 359.2 cm, has to experience seepage. That's why I experienced seepage in that my site. So primarily the constituent materials was what constituted to the seepage, and we recommended that at the end, looking at the bearing capacity of the soil being poor, we had to recommend a raft foundation. If you want to study more on what I'm saying, I have some references there for you, but I think it is more important that you contact me. Please subscribe, like and subscribe to our channel. Okay, so you can contact me here. So thank you so much. I am glad to do to talk on you. I think I just mentioned raft foundation by passage, and very soon I'm going to talk about it and some other thing about foundation. So please stay with us and let's rock together, and let's do it together. Thank you. Do have a nice day.